Hello, good morning. I'm your host, David Everett, and welcome to today's webinar entitled The Value of Visual IVR, a Quick ROI, brought to you by Brand Audio and Jacada. As a note to protect the privacy of our attendees, only your name will appear in the attendee window. Our presenters today are Chris Patefield, Technical Pre-Sales Consultant in EMEA for Jacada, and Rick Kirkham, Customer Experience Manager, Brand Audio. Today we will look at how converting your existing IVR into a visual IVR is a sensible investment that yields a better customer experience for your customers and savings for your business. Following the presentation, there will be a question and answer session, so please feel free to type your questions into the Q&A window at any time. Also, as I mentioned, as a note to protect the privacy of our attendees, only your name will appear in the attendee window. So let's begin. The presentation is over to you, Rick.
Thanks, David, and good morning, everybody. I've been designing and delivering pre-agent caller experiences for about 10 years now, and have seen many developments in the way this is done. Those of you who've worked with Brand Audio before will know that our approach when we design a telephone experience with you is to first make sure you understand what you do, who your customers are, what they want or need when they call, and also what you want them to do when they do. This enables us to design experiences which are on brand, easy for the customers to use, and which drive operational efficiency for you. Traditional telephone IVR does have its limitations though, which is why we're delighted to introduce our partnership with Jacada and bring you visual IVR, the solution that enables us to do even more with the pre-agent experience while maintaining, if not increasing, customer experience and delivering significant potential cost savings for your operation. So, to start with, it's just helpful to take a step back and look at the challenge we face today with traditional voice IVRs and what is often limited connectivity from your digital self-service to your contact center and telephony. To understand where visual IVR fits in, it helps to look at customer experience today. According to research, around 60% of customers will attempt to resolve their issue through self-service. Your metrics may vary, but this is a general average. I know many people try and self-serve on the research we've done before they try and contact anybody through voice, and this is becoming even truer for younger generations coming through into the marketplace. So, of that 60% that try to self-serve, stats show that only 25% resolve their issue successfully. And that may seem low, but it's because of this that many companies struggle with web self-serve and digital adoption over time, not getting the uptake of these services that they expect. What happens to the other side of 75% that don't resolve the issue in self-service? They just abandon the process and revert to the contact center and the telephony channel, which means the investment's been made, but the uptake isn't there to generate the ROI. And then what happens quite often is the customer has to explain everything to the agent, starting from the beginning, because there's no continuity of transaction, and this results in longer average call handling times. What then starts to happen is the other 40% that haven't tried to serve are just coming through to the contact centre directly, and they're just going to pick up the phone and want to talk to you. The net result of all of that is that 85% of interactions will end up coming through the traditional channels. Now, these numbers will be different depending on industry and sector that you're in, and it'd be interesting to talk to you afterwards about where these fit with you. And the next stage just to have a look at is an example customer service call, and then we can start to see a real benefit here of visual IVR. So what does a typical customer service call look like? Typically starts with the customer coming through the phone pre-agent experience, and again, if you work with us, you'll know that this area for us is all about delivering callers through to the right team or encouraging them to use self-serve where possible, getting them through in the best frame of mind with minimal effort as possible. But it can, again, depending on sector, take a few minutes. And they get through to a member of your team who needs to spend some time with information. If we use an example of a warranty support line, a piece of information that needs to be collected might tag on the back of the PC, which might be a mix of letters and numbers, 5DY7X, for example. Just needs to go through this information, diligently read it back to verify, and you'll also be verifying the customer at this stage as well. After that, the customer needs to explain the problem, and the agent then need to get additional information. So already, we're potentially up to a 5-minute total call length. And again, one thing we always work with people to do is measuring what happens before people reach the agent. A lot of people have all of their stats on what happens from the agent answer onwards. The lack of clarity on what happens before that. And we know from our research and working on our projects that you really can win or lose a call before people reach this point. Hopefully then you've got the agent solving the issue for that person, hopefully doing that right first time. But altogether in that example, you have up to 7 minutes of call. We can look at how visual IVR can come into play and actually reduce the length of time taken to handle that. In example, answering one question, real world you might be answering 3 or 4 in one transaction, but it's a simple way to demonstrate the savings that can happen. So in this scenario, the caller again going into a warranty support group. The only way warranty support will be provided is by having a customer service tag. In traditional voice IVR, possible virtually to enter the letter part of that tag into the telephone. Within visual IVR, however, you can input into the screen before you get through to an agent. That information is then passed across to the agent, to whom you explain the problem, and then you can focus on providing the solution. So altogether, using visual IVR to gather much richer and more complex information that you can't do through traditional telephone IVR, you've saved at least 60 minutes of talk time and another couple of minutes within the IVR. So that's taken 3 minutes in total off that average handling time. 4 minutes in total. If you then translate that into some real figures, how that translates into return on investment just in that simple scenario. If you have a 100 call centre with a loaded agent cost of £12 per hour, even 1 minute of average handling time will equate to savings of £478,000. Again, going back to working with your own figures, you have calculators which could help us work out exactly for your own scenarios costs that you could save. But using visual IVR in that pre-agent space, critically in my view, linking that real time with your telephony solution so that customers have a seamless journey between digital and telephony and being able to switch from one, shifting those channels if you have that objective, using visual can generate some really big cost savings and is a fantastic experience as well. Coming back to those initial objectives, make it easy for the customer, maintain and increase the experience, reduce costs for yourselves. That's just a straightforward example of where visual can do that. So I'm now going to hand over to Chris Patefield, who will give you some more detailed examples on visual IVR, how it works, and a couple of real-life scenarios. So over to you, Chris.
Thank you, Rick. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a demo of visual IVR and really talk you through the entire process of how visual IVR works, how it can work for your business, and how it can reduce AHT. Okay, so what we'll do is you can do this in your own time as well. So this is readily available over the internet, so you can do the demo whenever you want to. You just need to go to the most important website on the internet, which is, of course, www.visual-ivr.com. Okay, so you'll go to visualivr.com, and the first feature of visual IVR that we can do is what we call caller intent. Okay, so we have the capability of running visual IVR on a customer's mobile device, but also to integrate visual IVR into the customer's website. Okay, so one of those features of integrating visual IVR into the customer's website is that we can pass the customer journey through that website and through the customer's existing self-service channel, and then transport that journey to the agent when the customer calls the call center. Okay, so very, very rich feature of visual IVR and something that's new to the product. So I'm going to do something a little bit weird now. I'm going to just click on a few random different links. So it doesn't matter what those links are. Okay, I'm just going to click on these. Okay, once I've clicked on those, I'm going to go back and try the demo. So we've got a broad range of different customers, on the call today. So what we're going to do is we're going to do potentially 1 or 2 different demos. Okay. So the first one we're going to do is, and you can remember you can do this in your own time, is we're going to select the particular country. So I'm going to go United Kingdom. And then we're going to select a particular vertical, okay? The vertical we're going to do today is property and causality insurance. Now, don't worry about the wording there. This is an American demo done by the guys over in the States. So some of the wording may be slightly different, and you're going to hear the most amazing US accents when we come to do the demo as well. Okay, so what we're going to do, property and causality insurance. Now, look what's happened. Okay, so this is one of the features of the web side of visual IVR, and I'll be moving through to the mobile side in a minute. But one of the features is, what's happened here is we have a new telephone number that has been displayed to that customer. Now, that telephone number is very, very special indeed. And the telephone number is also something where we have a patent for within Jacada. Okay, so we owe the patent technology for this. And what that is it's called the DNIS service, D-N-I-S. What that number allows us to do is, even if the customer dials up via a landline number, so their landline, we can pass what's been happening on this website to the agent based on that unique telephone number, because that telephone number follows the customer around for a short period of time. Okay, that could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour, depending on the amount of numbers that you have available. Essentially, it's a DDI number that follows the customer and allows us to transport the customer journey to the agent in real time. Okay, when the call hits the call center. Okay, now I'm not going to do that today. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use that telephone number to demonstrate visual IVR over my mobile phone. Okay, so in the words of Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier. Okay, so I've got my my handset here. Okay, so you should be able to see my handset on screen. Okay, so what I need to do now is I need to call that particular telephone number. Okay, so my phone is just waking up, there we go, and I'm going to ring that number. Okay, so I'm going to press dial, and what's going to happen when I press dial, you are going to be presented with the most amazing US accents. Okay, so it's not a UK demo, just want you to warn you of that. And what we're going to see is we're going to see what's called a hybrid visual IVR demo. It's where we have the voice call and visual IVR open at the same time. Okay, so the customer is being guided by voice on how to use visual IVR in real time. And it's something that we're using in a very, very large software company in the US. I can't say who that is, but just suffice to say it's one of the world's largest software companies. So I'm just going to press dial there.
Thank you for calling DCM Insurance. If you are on your smartphone, please press 1 so that we may send you some important information and quickly get you the help you need. This is the fastest way to receive direct assistance from our team. If you prefer to wait for the next...
So what's going to happen now?
We are sending you an important text message. Please open this message and follow the link to quickly get the help you need through our our new visual menu. The visual menu will help us collect information to connect you to the best agent. Please don't hang up and follow the link in the text you just received.
So I'm opening a link now on my phone.
Please select your reason for calling today.
Okay, so now I'm on the IVR and I'm on visual IVR at the same time. Okay, so it's much easier to use a visual representation of the IVR than it is ever possible to do either by a voice recognition system or via a keypad entry on your handset. Okay, so the one I'm going to use today, because it's quite interesting, is the roadside help one. Okay, so I'm just going to press roadside help there. Okay, it's just going to remind me that if my leg is missing at that point in time, probably the best thing would be to ring 999, or if I was in the US, 911. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, well, it's not that serious.
For the privacy of your account information, please sign in using one of these secure options.
So at this point in time now, I've got the ability to be able to authenticate. And it's much easier to authenticate via a visual display, okay? So I've got different questions here. I've got email sign in, I've got provide my PIN, I've got your secret question, etc. Much easier because you can do alphanumeric data on visual IVR, which you can't really do on a standard IVR. And as we know, when we've just been visiting a client recently, although voice recognition systems are fantastic, there is a difficulty sometimes in natural speech. So I'm from Yorkshire in the UK. Sometimes they have difficulty understanding my accent. And using an address, for instance, can actually be quite difficult to search on using a voice recognition style system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a PIN on that one.
Please enter your 4-digit PIN associated with your account.
And what's going to happen now is it's going to give me an option, okay? I can deflect the customer to chat at this point if I want to, and that's something that we're seeing a lot of telcos involved in at the moment, and insurance companies that are looking to divert to chat. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something clever. I'm going to wait on hold. I want to speak to the agent, but I'm also going to do self-service while I'm waiting on hold.
While you're waiting, here are some options you might find helpful.
Okay, so it knows me too well, and it knows that I've got a Ford Fusion. So I'm going to say, yes, I've got a Ford Fusion. Okay. Now, at this point now, we can integrate it to Google Maps as well. And if I had location services available on my phone at the moment, you would see a Google map at that point, okay? But I don't, so I'm just going to put in my postcode. Okay, remember that this is all going to be fed to the agent when the agent answers the call. Okay?
Thank you.
And at this point,
find the best roadside assistance service for you. You also have the option of sharing a picture of your location and letting the service person know what to look for when they are near.
okay, so at this point in time now, I've got the ability to be able to upload photographs as well, or even take photographs via my mobile phone, all right? Something that, you know, certainly a voice system is never going to be able to do, and also a standard IVR, okay? So we're adding to the self-service capability that currently exists. We're not trying to be your new self-service portal. We're not trying even to take away from the voice channel, or take away from the chat channel, or take away from the email channel. We're looking to support all those different channels and almost have visual IVR as a channel in itself, which helps to enable all the other different channels that you have in your business at the moment. Okay, now at this point here, then it will actually transfer me to the call center, which is going to do now. So I'm just going to end that call now, okay? And look what's happened. So if I go back to the website now, I'm going to look at this from an agent perspective, okay? And what the agent sees is everything that has happened on that visual IVR journey, okay? This is called the agent screen pop, or sometimes we call it the agent app, which essentially is available from the call center and is mapped to either the customer's dial-in number, or do you remember the DMIS service number that we talked about earlier, okay? Or potentially another unique identifier as well, okay? So what I have here is all the information that has happened on that particular call, okay? What else do I have available as well? Well, remember that we talked earlier about what we call caller intent, okay? So they're on your web service channel, okay? And you want to pass those details about what the customer has been doing on your website to the agent. What I will do at this point is I will click web flow, okay? And I have my web flow available there. So that's what I did. That's the amount of time I spent on that particular page. We can expand that and we can integrate that into your existing self-service channel. So again, not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're trying to make your wheel nicer, shiny, and with a nicer set of alloys, okay? We're trying to improve the process. Okay, so David, did that come across okay in terms of a visual demo, a visual idea?
I think it certainly did, Chris. And I'd say the reaction that we're getting across the marketplace is extremely positive to what you're seeing here. And hopefully for the attendees today, they had a really good view of how this complements and really adds to existing means of communicating through to you as a potential customer and supplier. So yeah, I think
okay,
absolutely, Chris. Yeah.
Fantastic. So looking at time now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one more demo, but I won't be explaining this time. I'll just be showing functionality. And it's a retail demo that I want to show. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh this website completely. Otherwise, we're going to have an issue. So as that website refreshes, okay, I'm just going to try the demo one more time. But this time, I'm not going to pick insurance. I'm going to pick retail. So I'm going to go to United Kingdom. And this time, I'm going to go retail. And it's going to give me that telephone number again. Okay, so we'll come back to my screen. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to dial that telephone number again. I believe it's the same one, but for posterity reasons, we'll put the number in again. So 01579212060. Looks right, yep. So I press call.
Computers, your laptop superstore. We have an exciting new way to get you quickly to the help you need. If you are on your smartphone, please press 1 so that we may send you some important information and quickly give you the help you need. Thank you. We are sending you an important text message. Please open this message and follow the link to quickly get the help you need through our new visual menu. The visual menu will help us collect information to connect you to the best agent. Please don't hang up and follow the link in the text you just received. Please select your reason for calling today.
Okay, so this time what I'm going to do is, you know, various different capabilities of a retail demo. And you must use these demos in your own time as well to get a full feel. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say order a replacement. So order a replacement.
Please enter the warranty service tag ID located on the bottom of your laptop. Our agents will need this information to quickly answer your question. Thank you. This will save you time when speaking to an agent and protect your privacy by not having to share this information directly with an agent.
Okay, so I'm going to wait on hold. Now, when I wait on hold, what it's going to do this time is it's going to try and upsell. Right? So it's going to try and extend my warranty whilst I'm waiting on the phone. So I'm going to go wait on hold.
Please wait while we connect you to an agent.
Great,
You
look.
know your warranty is expiring in 60 days. If you would like to extend your warranty, please click Extend Warranty now. Don't worry, this will not alter your place in the queue.
Okay, so I'm going to say, well, thank you very much, Lee. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to say, yes, I'd like to extend my warranty. Okay, and then I'll get transferred through to the agent again. Okay, so a very similar scenario to last time, okay, but just a slightly different demo. And again, once again, I've got that information coming to the agent in real time when the call is activated. Okay, now, one final part of the demo is, look, one of the great things about visual IVR is that essentially visual IVR is in itself an amazing self-service platform that can really help your business in terms of developing projects quickly and effectively to give that return on investment that we're talking about today. All right, so one of the powers of the system is the speed of development. Okay, so I'm just going to show you very, very quickly a few features on the admin side, and then we'll go to questions. So I'm just going to log into the Interact platform now. Okay, so if I can just remember my password, so log in. Okay, so this is essentially the Interact platform, comes with a massive management system that allows you to do things like, so we have integration points available. Integration points allow us to connect to third-party services in real time, so via REST and SOAP web services, and you can even get very, very clever and start building your own JavaScript extensions as well. The platform is available over the cloud, okay, or on-premise should you require. But the most interesting thing about visual IVR is, in fact, the designer tool, okay? I'm just going to show you this very, very quickly before we move on to questions, literally 30 seconds. Okay, so this is the designer, okay, and as you can see, not going into too much detail at all, but it's a visual tool for actually building different types of interactions, okay. So I have a German use case here where I can just publish that interaction into a view on the right-hand side here, and I can build the interaction from question elements that create menus, from decision elements, allocators, emails, etc. So it's a visual journey. It can be done by business analysts, okay, or power users rather than developers, okay. So it's really, you know, putting the power of visual IVR into the hands of the business user rather than the technical department, okay? So thank you very much there, David. That was a very, very brief demo. I'm going to pass you back now and let's answer some questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. I'll just take the presentation back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so thanks, Chris, for the demonstration there, and Rick earlier for just positioning Visual IVR from a business point of view. I can see we have a few questions from the audience. As I say, please do add any questions that you have to the Q&A window. First question we have that didn't come up earlier on in what you're running through, Chris, but does Visual IVR require an app to be installed on the mobile device, Chris?
No, absolutely not. So Visual IVR by default is a web-based system with mobile HTML, so essentially HTML5, and we can backgrade to HTML4 as well. We're tending to present visual IVR via a text message, okay, when they call the call center, or as integrated into web self-service. So you have both capabilities there. And also, if you want to integrate on an app level, you are more than welcome to do so. We have an integration already pre-built, which allows you to be able to integrate visual IVR directly to a mobile app, which then essentially gives you the capability of what we call caller intercept. So when the customer dials the telephone number, then we automatically pop visual IVR, but it's not our focus, David.
Okay, thanks very much, Chris. One here, Rick, for yourself. What can we expect from an average handling time reduction?
What can we expect from average handle?
Handle time reduction, yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. Depends on the complexity of your call type, the type of information you collect visually, and what changes you may want to make to your IVR flow. So there's not one answer that fits all, but to give it a little context, we would expect to reduce average handling time by 20 to 60 seconds by moving to visual and just simply using it to collect some data up front. Again, we do have a calculator we can work through with you afterwards and work out some specific figures for your operation as well.
Okay, thank you, Rick. A question that's just come in. Have you deployed visual IVR into an app before, the main business app? I think hopefully what Chris just covered there is that the choice is yours, and definitely as an organization we have implemented visual IVR into organizations' existing main business apps that they've deployed to their customers. Another question here, great demo, so well done, Chris, for this one. Can you give an indication of what is what the typical cost of implementation for this type of software? Rick, as it's a partner event, do you want to make a comment on that?
Cost of implementation depends on the level of integration and what capabilities you have at the moment, what systems you're using, and I might elegantly transfer to Chris to give us a bit of detail on that.
Okay. Maybe I'll take that one back again. Rick, I'll take that back in.
Take that, David. Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, realistically, from looking at the different use cases and customers that have adopted visual IVR internationally, we're probably looking at an average time, maybe 6 to 8 weeks from design discussions, taking that use cases have been clearly identified within the business. So it is a quick win, quick ROI tool for the business and for your customers. So if that helps, say Rick or I would be only too pleased to speak to people after the webinar. But on average, hopefully that's not seen as a long duration. On average, say 6 to 8 weeks, and that includes the first deployment for the very large tech software company in the US. Who moved very quickly with us as a business to get this out to their customers and to their retail stores. Another question on here, Rick, maybe for yourself, is does this work only in English, or what about multiple languages?
Yeah, that's a good question. Just as we do with telephony call flows, visual IVR, we have capability in any language. So in telephony at the moment, we regularly work in over 80 languages, and any language you would operate in, we can implement visual language as well.
Okay. The audio your side, Rick, is a little bit hit and miss, but
yeah, apologies.
One more question here, I think, again for yourself, Rick. How do you typically put a business case behind something like this to sell it internally?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, there's two types of measures, I suppose. The softer ones would be customer satisfaction and understanding how your customers prefer to interact with you. But it can be difficult to make a business case around those. The three bigger, harder measures around ROI for visual would be reducing average handle time that we've already looked at by collecting richer information through visual than in the traditional telephone routes. Call containment, or so self-serve within the IVR through visual, and also call deflection, so completely self-serving through visual without calls coming through to agents as well. So there's a couple of softer measures and some hard ones to you can really build quite an effective business case around it. If we understand what you've got in place at the moment and what that costs you, we can map that against the potential uptake of visual and give you some fairly tight figures to prove an ROI before you take it to the business.
Okay, thank you for that, Rick. Another question that's just come in. Are the Jacada servers based in the UK? Question about PCI compliance as well. So our hosted service is on the Amazon Azure platform. That's fully deployed across the US at the moment, which serves our international customers. And to answer this particular question, we are implementing the rollout of our cloud service onto EU servers. So that again will be on the Amazon platform, based out of Ireland. We know there is options into Germany as well, but to bring that within the EU, that would be in Ireland. And from a PCI compliance point of view, we work with PCI compliant providers such as Semaphone in the market, where data collection that is sensitive is diverted to a secure platform, such as the one I just mentioned there.
Yeah. To add to that, David, so Visual IVR has the capability of auditing pretty much every step, every piece of data in the system, but it equally has the ability not to audit various values, okay? And where possible, we're integrating into other services over HTTPS, and we're encrypting data to the point where we're trying not to touch the PCI layer, but we'll work hand in hand with your security departments to make sure that we are, in line with your current PCI policy.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. At this stage, we have no further questions, and coming up to the 45 minutes with about a minute to go. And I thank you there from answering that question. Appreciate it. So that concludes our webinar on the value of Visual IVR, a quick ROI today. Thanks again, Chris, and to Rick for your presentations and demonstrations there. If there are any other questions that do come through to us, that we will actually answer them and send them separately to you after this event. We certainly hope that you've gained valuable insight into Visual IVR and how easily it can be utilized within your business and to enhance your customer service capability. A replay of the event will be available soon from jacada.com, and if you would like a copy of the slide deck, please do contact me as per the slide here, deverett@jacada.com. And as Chris highlighted right at the beginning, I think you said, Chris, probably the most important website on the web. That could be debated, but we pretty agree. Yeah. Please visit visual-ivr.com to experience other demonstrations from the ones that Chris showed you. So again, thank you very much for attending, and have a great day. Thank you.